Who are you?
Sean Keeble.
All right, where are you from?
Telford.
And what have you made of this?
I think it's been an experience. I think the people that put it together are credit to the charity or whatever it's for. People here are great. They just need a chance for somewhere to live on that.
Okay, any things that you want to see done differently?
No, not really. Everyone's worked hard. Everyone's worked hard and try to make it as comfortable as possible for everyone.
How did you find out about us?
I was looking for a room at Salvation Army, and they gave me a map and sent me up this direction.
And when was that?
This was Christmas Eve.
Right. And so Sally Army were full.
Yeah, they're full to capacity.
And what are you going to do when this closes?
Try all the hostels.
Again? Yeah. All right. So it's going to be kind of get out of here as soon as you can on clothing day, and then head off to the hostels.
Yeah, just try and do everything I can to get somewhere to stay.
Okay. Good luck, mate.
Right, cheers.
Who are you and what do you do?
Officer of the Third Sector.
Okay, which is a government
department. It's basically, it kind of tries to develop the third sector, so charities, voluntary organisations, non-government organisations. We basically try to sort of invest money in them and work with them to make a thriving third sector.
Yeah.
To try and support sort of people who are vulnerable and excluded and probably less fortunate than we are.
Okay.
So we fund lots of charities, drugs charities, homeless charities, shelters like this. You know, really try and build up the fabric at grassroots of what local communities do, make people work together, build up, strengthen sort of links within sort of society and stuff. Particularly like you guys do here at the shelter.
Okay.
I think that capacity can only really be built at local level, so really directly investing like Grassroots Grants does, we directly invest in local organisations because they know their local area better than we do. You guys hold most of the knowledge about your local communities in your local area, so I think the feeling is that we should really be investing money directly to you and giving you more of the control over what you do in your local area, like you do here. I mean, here's a perfect example. Like £9.5 billion every year is donated in the UK to charities. Government invests about 11 billion a year. So it's sort of, it's donation is quite an important way of people locally who don't have time to put back into their community. So, and government should sort of support that, and we should provide incentives for donating, and we do.
I'm Terry from East London.
Okay, and how long have you been with us?
Since yesterday.
Okay, so a couple of days.
A couple of days, yeah.
And what have you made of the shelter?
I think it's quite good, interesting in a way of helping people who are homeless and all that, get provided with food and things like that.
Okay.
Helpful, friendly, easy going to talk to.
Okay. And what about the other guests? Are they generally okay or?
Yeah, they're okay. No problems with the guests or anyone.
Okay, and the way in which we've kind of managed security and that kind of thing?
That's even better.
What are you going to tell me about the shelter?
It's absolutely brilliant.
Why?
Appreciate it. What have you done for us? It's really, really brilliant. I mean, I've got no words to describe that. Thank you is a very small words.
Well, I think the volunteers here do wicked work. They're all great. I think it's wicked how they do it out of their spare time to come and help us homeless people at Christmas. I've got enough respect for them to help us out at Christmas. But they should be doing something like this all through the year. I've been told to be homeless they have to see people sleeping on the floor. But they don't see them because most people are awake by the time the people go around, you know what I'm saying? But more money should be put in to help people with drugs, alcohol, things like that, you know what I'm saying? I've been on the drugs for 12 years, not proud. More help should be needed back, you know what I'm saying? I think they should have something like this more often, more than once a year, you know what I mean? Because we're just getting helped out 5 days in a year, you know what I mean? Like, most of the people here, we can't get into hostels because of like situations and things like that, but more things need to be done.
There needs to be more hostel accommodation for people that are homeless on the streets of Birmingham, because when you go into places like Henrietta Street and Homeless Service Centre and you're looking for accommodation to sort yourself out, it's like you go in there and they're saying if there's no accommodation available you just have to come back tomorrow. But there needs to be more support on the streets for people that are homeless and so forth, and that's it really, isn't it?
And you were saying as well, people struggle because they're only allowed a certain number of nights in the Sally Army and stuff, yeah? So what do you do then?
Well, there's nothing to do, obviously. You just have to sleep rough and try and get through. And like, because you're on the streets as well, you're more likely to be around people that are using drugs, so then you're more likely to be using drugs yourself, committing offences for all the drugs and further on. So it's just it's like a knock-on effect from being homeless, isn't it, if you know what I mean?
So what does government and local government need to do? Do you think? What does society need to do?
Possibly maybe sort out more hostel accommodations, more emergency accommodations for people that are on the streets and in homeless positions, isn't it?
Okay, and better ways for people to kind of pick themselves up, really. Give them a base instead of giving them a base earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, that's it, man. Just give them somewhere so they can get back on their feet, sort their lives out, and then maybe move forward in life instead of backwards, ain't it?
I'm back on Corporation Street, which is where back in September it was, we were doing street collection, which is about as far removed, I guess, from where we currently are at Christmas in this cold with a hostel full of 100 people, as we could have been at that time when we were collecting money, really divorced from the lives of the people we were trying to benefit. And it struck me as being quite a nice place to come back to just to reflect on Liam Byrne's visit this morning. It was great to see him, and I hope that it raises some awareness amongst him and other local MPs about what the work we're trying to do. And he asked us some interesting questions about what government needed to do. And I don't think I could necessarily answer that, but some of our guests did, and they were talking about the lack of hostel beds year round, not just at Christmas. Carlos, another one of our guests, was talking about the fact that you need some kind of drop-in centre to pick people up or to catch those who've fallen through year round. We're massively underestimating the size of the problem and therefore the amount of resources that need to be thrown in. One of the things that Liam raised, I think, was about whether or not people had a base upon which they could kind of rebuild their lives, and without hostel space or without a dedicated space that they felt was a home, a secure home, that they had no base with which to rebuild their lives, no framework, and they had that for 5.5 days at the shelter, but that it wasn't long enough really. And I think he agreed that there needs to be better dialogue between voluntary organisations like ours and outreach from city councils and local authorities, because without that sense of kind of a connection between those different bodies working together, people were just falling through the cracks. So I hope he goes away and is able to meditate on what he's seen, and is able to hopefully begin to open up a dialogue between local authorities and organisations like Birmingham Christmas Shelter.